Welcome into a special edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered as always by Go Chevrolet here on this Wednesday. News breaking here for LSU football. Over the last 30 minutes, Shea Dixon over at Go 247, trusted voice who covers the program, reporting Eli Ricks will miss the remainder of the season. It feels like the entire fan base feels like that this is a transfer move. I can tell you on good information, this is going to this is a for an injury. It seems like a shoulder for Eli Ricks, and he will undergo surgery, which will keep him out of the remainder of the season. So we'll wait and see. I know when the news came across, it was almost catastrophe, and as if it was going to be a bad story for LSU, losing one of their young, dominant players to a transfer. But as of now, I can tell you that it is an injury that is going to knock Ricks down and keep him out here for the remainder of the season. This does stress, or at least bring to light, how important this time is for LSU football, because you can imagine what will be happening for Eli Ricks during this time as he's going through the rehabilitation process, as he's down and out and away from his team. He's away from the locker room. He's going through and nursing an injury. That's a tough time for a highly trained athlete, or any athlete that goes through an injury. It's terrible to deal with. It's very isolating when you think about just the overall team and day-to-day aspect of it. But I can imagine that his phone will be going wild with the opportunity from coaches out there to transfer in, which is going to bring to light and really push to the forefront here of the timeline that Scott Woodward is operating under. And when that timeline exists and it's time to make a choice, how fast he can get somebody into place, because you got to get somebody that can sell the message for LSU and really have it heard, because the sharks are swimming around LSU's program, and they are lurching on just highly skilled football players for LSU that seem like they're unhappy right now. Obviously, with the state of the way that the program is trending. So I can confirm that Eli Ricks is injured. It looks like it is an injury that will take surgery, and that is the decision to keep him out the remainder of the season. I don't think this has anything immediately to do with any type of transfer or that he is seeking to leave, but the stories are out there, and people are aware that it is, LSU is very unstable right now, and they have a very good roster. And there are a lot of good recruiters out there that are looking for more and better football players. So, LSU's got to play. They've got to play defense here. They've got to protect their roster. They've got to protect their program here while, they're the punching bag of college football. And as we said, it really is going to bring to light and push to the forefront what Scott, what is going to be Scott Woodward's timeline and who he's going to ultimately land on.
And don't you think if the person that Scott Woodward decides on, not only does he have to change his recruiting pitch to LSU, he also now has to get to campus. It almost seems like early, at least they know the guy, so he can re-recruit the people that are already on campus. Like, isn't that turns into like almost twofold, because the people that are already on LSU's roster are good. These are people that were recruited to LSU after a national championship season that could have gone anywhere in the country. So not only does he have to take a chance on trying to swing recruits to LSU with a new hat on, because he wasn't recruiting them before, so now he has to shift his message to LSU. He also has to get in the building and be able to say, look, fellas, this is what I want to do with you. I have a plan for every one of you that are still on a roster spot, because we've had people on that have said this, and this is how it's worked in the portal, where they're staying in contact if they've been recruited by other schools.
No doubt about it.
Whether it's a high school coach, whether it's just somebody, a confidant, anybody they know, that they're constantly putting messages in these players' ears, even while they're on campus. So if you don't think that these guys have other options whenever this season's going the way it is, they'll have their decision made by the end of the year, just like a coach would. Like, they're going to have a different place. They're going to have landing spots where they could potentially transfer toward that will take place instantly, it would seem like, as soon as the season's over.
Jeff Milan says this is about to get bad for LSU. Tiki Taki Taco says that radio show tonight just got way more interesting.
Without a doubt.
Moore Miles says, I'm not surprised. I think he's going to Ohio State. Come on. Don Taminato says, didn't he have surgery on his shoulder coming out of high school? Vincent says, no chance he comes back to LSU. He's played his last game in the purple and gold. Don gets back into the chat in the bunker and says, this is a good and a bad thing. Players are quitting, which gives the coach his own players when he comes in. I don't think that...
don't want to lose an Eli Ricks.
I don't think that Eli Ricks is quitting, and you sure as hell don't want to lose him. He is a very, very gifted player at a position that is very tough to find good players. So this is an injury for Eli Ricks, an injury that is going to need surgery and keep him out the rest of the season. But as we said, you have got to go into defense mode if you're LSU administration on protecting the roster and protecting the program right now, because they are out in the great wide open for college football to see right now. They are exposed, they are vulnerable, and the phones are blowing up in that locker room with coaches around the conference and the country curious about what the status is. And they may not be contacting Eli Ricks directly, but they're contacting Eli's girlfriend, they're contacting Eli's brother, they're contacting Eli's sister, they're contacting Eli's mom, dad, somebody that they formed a relationship with in recruiting around Eli Ricks. The coaches are talking to them right now and asking, is he looking to go somewhere else? Because if he is, he's got a spot at Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Texas A&M, Texas, name it. So LSU's really got to make sure that they keep this, they keep this thing as wrangled as they can, as much ownership or as much control as they can have over the roster, and making sure that people understand what the direction of the program is has got to be one of the most important things for Scott Woodward right now, in my opinion. And just at the top of his list, alongside finding and replacing Ogeron, has got to be the protection of the roster right now.
When's the last time you heard good news about LSU football?
Mason Smith?
Just coming here?
Yeah.
It might be that. I mean, there's no good news within the season. Nothing's good that's happened within the year that's been you can really hang your hat on. Mississippi State, the defense against Mississippi State. Like, there hasn't been one positive thing come out of this program this year. It's a tough place, tough time to be a Tiger fan.
Trent Cavalier says, Ed, meet me at the fishing hole. What do you say to J-Boy?
J-Boy!
Ronnie Anderson, I think he realizes the season is a wash. Just let him get healthy for next season. That's best case scenario, Ronnie, and I'm with you. I hope that's it. Alex F. says, let's take Coach O fishing. Daniel Glenn. Does Shauna not do press anymore? Talking about Rick's mother. She was on the air last year a few times when Ricks got settled in Baton Rouge. Yeah, she was selling real estate here locally for a while, and I think the younger brother actually goes to school in Baton Rouge. They definitely are implanted in the city and in Baton Rouge and around Louisiana. Kieran Mott says Mullen is going to embarrass his staff. Christian Cameron, wonder who steps up and plays that corner position now. It's a good question. I mean, you got Dwight McLaughlin already logging some time on the other side for Derek Stingley Jr., who is down. Who is going to be the next man up? I mean, I guess it's Cardell Flott. You got to slide him back outside.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other option. Listen to Shea just put this tweet out. Notable guys who are done for the year, not available, haven't played for LSU yet. Miles Brennan, John Emery, Keyshawn Butte, Chris Hilton, Andre Anthony, Ollie Gay, Glenn Logan, Jared Small, Derek Stingley, Eli Ricks, Major Burns, Todd Harris, Sage Ryan, Peyton Todd. You could field a team with these people.
What are they going to do? Who are they going to play? How are they going to compete?
That's unbelievable.
That is amazing. Read those names again. I mean, that sounds like an NFL starting roster.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 people. Miles Burnett at quarterback. John Emery at running back. Wide receivers. Keyshawn Boutte, Chris Hilton. These are all people that either haven't
Missed
played
time or out.
Or are out. Wide receiver Chris Hilton. Defensive end Andre Anthony Ali Gay. Glenn Logan, Jared Small, Derek Stingley, Eli Ricks, the 2 starting corners you had going into the year that we said, everybody in the country said the greatest quarterback tandem in college football. You don't have either one of them now. Major Burns, Todd Harris, Sage Ryan, 5-star safety, and then punter Peyton Todd.
What do I hear back there?
Oh, what was that?
A familiar name I know. What's up? Happy birthday, baby. Where you at?
Where you at?
Where are they at?
Peyton Mack with the donation to the show. Thank you very much, Peyton. Over under on transfers. Could get hairy. Could get bad here, and I think that's what's Scott Woodward's biggest concern right now is making sure that it is not a free for all on LSU's roster in the locker room. Just up and leaving and transferring.
You still have the beat of your schedule left.
Oh God!
Florida, Alabama, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Texas A&M.
It's about to get so bad. Like, it's about to get so bad on the field that it's going to be...
You have to play Ole Miss at 2:30.
On
CBS.
It will be unbearable at times. You will go through spells over the next month where you turn off your television, leave the stadium, don't come back, and do not watch LSU football because of how bad the product is about to become.
Worse than any time.
And I'm not even trying to. I'm not dumping on the player. It's not their fault. It's not. It's they don't have control of it. They're the guys that are now having to play at these multiple positions weren't expected to play. Sure, some of them are getting a great opportunity. Some of them just aren't prepared. Some of them aren't ready for this moment. And the stage and the lights are about to be so bright and so real on them. With Florida on Saturday, Ole Miss a week from Saturday, Alabama 3 weeks from Saturday, Arkansas a month from now, Texas A&M 6 weeks from now. I mean, you still got 6 weeks of like competitive, tough, get your ass kicked type football.
The meat of your schedule where they ain't going to show there's no mercy out there because they're all playing for something. And LSU football, how far do you move the barometer back for LSU? You're just trying to win. I guess I know the old mantra is like take it one at a time, but you had season goals that you're nowhere going to be close to sniffing.
Oh, gosh, bro. I mean, you throw those out the window, man. Billy Perdue says Florida minus 10 is a gift right now.
Still at 10?
Is it still at 10? What's up, bro?
It's not like Eli was going to help it run. I mean, they're going to shove the ball down LSU's throat.
Jason, I turned off the Kentucky game. Don Tomazano, I hope Evans didn't get... oh, gosh. I mean, yeah. Darren Evans would be
Joe
the guy.
Evans.
No, Joe Evans is the defensive tackle. Darren Evans is the transfer from Nichols.
He's the one that's been filmed.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one that's been...
Oh, Pig?
No, I mean, I haven't even seen Pig Prather. Not Pig Prather. What's his name?
Oh, it's Pig.
Yeah.
Pig Cage?
Pig Prather went to...
Pig Cage.
Pig Prather went to Arkansas.
I think Pig's a safety, huh?
Yeah,
He'll be
he is
out
a safety.
there. Well, I was talking about Joe Evans because there's rumors of him having left the team also to
Yeah, I don't think that he's available this weekend.
pursue a music career.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
I know. But he's still not going to be
But
available.
he's not
That's
available.
another one that's gone.
He's not available. My gosh, man. I mean,
You can't even field a team.
the lack of players that LSU is going to take the field with on Saturday, and again, I'm not trying to crack
not
on the players.
fault. It's
I mean,
just it's a
just-
calamity.
yeah, you just don't have the selection. You don't have the depth. You don't have the numbers. And you're missing such key players, not only on the field, but really like in the locker room and the leadership aspect of these guys not even being around is just, it's going to be interesting to see how Scott Woodward manages this. I mean, I've lost all and complete hope and direction on Ogeron's leadership abilities, but somebody is going to have to take this thing over because I'm not saying that whoever does take it over is going to cause that much of a difference, just because it seems like such a broken ship right now. But I mean, you want to talk about if it's comical right now? DRC, Dr. Doc says it's hilarious at this point. Yeah, and it could get a lot worse. Like, really, I mean, it could get tremendously worse with the thought of, thinking about like what Ed Ogeron would feel like around this team a month from now. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. Think about how bad it is now. Think about how bad it could be a month from now.
How long you have to live in the nightmare? Like, how long can I be asleep for? Like, this can't be real at some point. If you're like, because you have to play Florida, then you have to do the exact same thing the next week, the next week, and the next week, and it's just. If Woodward's going to stick to the way he hires people, this is going to be long and drawn out and just be. It's going to put such a cloud over LSU football for the fan base, like not even nationally, but it's going to. Woodward's asking a lot for them to say, stick with me. Like, you're going to have to. This is the way I do it every time. You're going to have to trust me because it's going to be so bad.
Even worse than the fan base, recruits and everybody is going to keep trickling the longer that this gets drawn on.
No, it's worst case scenario for LSU administration. I mean, this is exactly what they were hoping and praying before the year does not happen. And, as soon as you saw that picture pop up on Melrose Avenue Friday of game week at UCLA, they had to start cringing. They just had to start saying to themselves, this is going to be a disaster. This is going to be a shit show this season. Everything from opt-outs to players not available to just the worst case scenario they were probably painting inside that office. And here they are going into Florida week, playing at 11 a.m., lifting the COVID protocols, whatever you got to do to get them in there, man. Tell them they can bring whatever they want inside. They can bring their tailgate. They can bring their barbecue pits to their seats.
Sack of ice and just a fifth of whiskey, walk on in. Come on, you're good. You're good. Anybody that wants to come. Is Joe Burrow available to come to halftime?
Burrow wouldn't even go see him when they were in Kentucky, man. It was a bridge away. It was a 30-minute car ride away.
That's not my LSU football. That's not what I left.
Right.
Michael Tolliver says, I trust Woodward. I'm with you, Mike.
Oh, I trust him.
No, I'm with you, but he's got his work cut out here because he's in such a tough place right now. He's in such a bad spot where like I said, I think going into the year, he and his confidants were probably saying to themselves, Stephanie Remp, Verge Alsbury, and Scott were probably saying, look, there's potential that this thing could get bad under Ogeron. He has shown over the last 12 months that this job is a little too big for him. If he can manage the talent, get the best out of them, if these first-year coordinators hit, possibly they could win 8, 9, 10 maybe games. If so, that'll be great. If he missteps on the PR stuff, we make a move at the end of the year, and you're on your way. Worst case scenario is he starts to lose games. Ogeron goes Ogeron. He can't help himself. His PR is a disaster. Then the on the football field product is blowing up, and players are not playing. You're not getting the best out of them. You start to miss key players for the rest of the season, and here you are, man. I mean, this is where you are in the third playing week of October. And it's just disastrous. I mean, I'm not trying to be catastrophe syndrome. I'm not trying to be sky is falling guy. I'm not trying to be the worst is here, but this is about as bad a football as you're going to witness LSU play if you've been watching over the golden run, which has started, 2000, 2001 up until now. There's been some rocky times, but there's been some real high times for LSU football. It's about to dip down into the valleys and just into the deep, dark gutters of college football. And that's just a tough spot for Woodward because you know what you have, you know the potential, you know you're not getting the best out of it, but you can't lose just what's going on every single day for the brand. I mean, it's just getting whacked. It's getting crushed. Not only by, the public, but coaches and players and recruits and everybody who is in and around it. Just tough right now, man. Just tough right now. Peyton Mack says, is Ensminger the interim for sure? I don't know that. I would think if he had an interim that he trusted and in place, he would have gone to him by now. But, Scott Woodward, as many have pointed out, his track record shows that he does not move people within the season. So maybe, he says, hey, Ed, you created this mess, and as messy as it's going to be, you're going to park this thing for us. And, you're going to have to go through every single week. You're going to have to answer all the questions. You're going to have to take the fake phone calls. You're going to have to go through every Saturday and game day of how bad it can be. And, at the end of the season, you're done.
You earn some of that money. That's brutal. If that's the way he's going about it, to have to go up there every single day and perform as the LSU head football coach. Because I know, and I don't know this, but in Ed's heart of hearts, he has to feel so bad about what's happened to this. Because if you believed everything that he said whenever he was brought into LSU, it's how much he loved and cared for the program and knew its history and respected it. He's a Louisiana guy. He's one of us. And for him to have to sit there and take this on the chin week after week after week, I don't know if he can do it. Because of his temperament and the way he is, there's going to be a boiling point. If you thought last week was bad, there's going to get to a point where it's going to come to a head, and I don't know if you can really trust him in that spot. He's proven it.
And he could just go scorched earth?
I don't give, you know what?
Yeah.
If you're all going to be like this, I'm going to be like that. I'll never coach again, but you're going to get the worst version of me if you're going to keep putting me out here.
Oof.
Gosh. Especially if the Ole Miss game goes the way it's going to go.
I mean, Lane Kiffin is going to be able to hang 100 on him while he's out openly bidding for the job.
He's auditioning for the job.
Exactly.
He's on an on-the-field interview. I mean, he is how close do you want to see me? How dominant do you want to see me play?
Treat it like a bowl game.
How smart do you want to see my scheme? How much do you want me to exploit your 4- and 5-star guys, even though they don't have them anymore? The news today, Eli Ricks out for the remainder of the season. Shay Dixon, our friend over at 247 Sports, Go 247, broke that first here this morning, talking about Ricks' status. I know the initial reaction to that is that Ricks was opting out. He was transferring out. From the information that I have got, he's hurt. Shoulder injury. Probably going to need surgery. So that's the reason why he'll miss the remainder of the year.
I mean, do you think if LSU was undefeated right now, he's getting surgery?
It's a good question. I couldn't say yes or no for certain, but it's a good question. I mean,
something to chew on.
I can't imagine right now that it's. I mean, look, we talked about it this morning. Remember, if you missed it, everything's brought to you by RMB Builders. That's our podcast. There is a link to it directly below that you can hit. Make sure and like it, share it. We appreciate it. And check out RMB Builders, rmb-builders.com.
You even sound sad.
No, I'm not sad, but it's about to get bad, and I know when it really gets that bad. It's. I don't want to get into start doing the same show every single day. You know what I mean? Because, look, I grew up in Baton Rouge. I went to LSU. I live in Baton Rouge now. I'm from Louisiana. I'm proud about just about everything that's good in our state. And LSU football brings us a lot of happy times. It brings us together. It does a lot of good things for a lot of people out there. And when it is misguided and undirected, it can be very depressing. It can be, it's a mood setter for a lot of people out there. And, it's tough to sit here in this position some days and try to paint a scene that is just looks like it's non-existent. Now, what I can say is that, and we've highlighted this, it's not, choose my words wisely, it's not the hardest thing in the sport to do to revive LSU, right? You've got a ton of resources. You got a ton of players in the area. You got a lot of great fan support and booster support and people around you. So if this is the right person who follows Orgeron up, well, then it's potentially back overnight and competing for championships within 3 years. So, while the valleys are going to be deep and they're going to be dark and it's going to suck down here in the gutter, you could swing out of it pretty quickly if Woodward brings in the right guy. And like we said a couple of times, I believe, that Woodward's going to get it right, and that his track record and his ability to attract the right people and bring in the big names and finds the money to pay them and gets the deals done speak for themselves. And I believe that he has been anticipating and been planning and been almost waiting to make this hire, because he knew at some point he was going to have to do this. And now here it is. So we'll see. And like we said, there's not that Steve Sarkisian on the market like there was last year. There's not that guy that made ton of sense that he's going to get the next gig. There's not that top assistant out there that you say, wow, look at what he is accomplishing. It's time for him to get his own program. Whoever you go and get, you're going to have to take them away from a program. You're going to have to potentially buy them out. So, just some things to think about, man. It's going to be a wild ride over the next couple of weeks and months here at LSU, covering LSU, being around Baton Rouge, because like we said yesterday, everywhere you go, man, people are talking about it. Every single place you go, people are asking and wondering and curious and giving their point and giving their thoughts on what should happen and what they believe will happen, and all of that stuff. I mean, people are consumed by it right now. And what another piece of worry for the leadership has to be is complacency with the fan base, is aptitude, is just kind of giving up, tapping out, saying, you know what, I got options on a Saturday. I'm not signing up to watch that BS. I'm not going into that stadium and putting up with that crap. I'm not giving in and going through all of what it takes to get there and get out of there and just doing it. And that sends the strongest message. As bad as the football is and potentially what the public relations have presented to LSU, that is the strongest voice that anybody could yell to that fifth floor or that sixth floor of the athletic administration building.
I mean, the last thing you want to see is LSU fans, not even LSU fans, but even the LSU product, the football team, become apathetic, because that's what it seems like it's trending to, where you just kind of don't care. You're checked out. That's something that I've never even experienced really in my lifetime. It's never gotten to the point where, like, it's been bad under Les, but never to where it's like, I don't think we're going to be able to win a game. Like, I'll turn on LSU Arkansas. Like, even after they played Alabama. Like, there's still games on the schedule that you expect them to win. This, I'm looking at it, and I don't see anything where if you want to, like, pack the house for ULM, go right ahead. Yeah. But I don't see how this thing's going to play out in Baton Rouge to where anybody's, like, they're going to be checked out or be looking ahead. Like, I've never seen that before. Yeah. To where it's just nothing. You'll watch it for 5 minutes and turn it off. That's
what I said. For people that have been watching over the last 20, 22 years, they're really kind of the golden run of LSU football. This is going to take you back to a time where, it was tough to fathom those days when you were riding the wave of what LSU has been surfing for the last 20 years. It's going to be a hell of a break. You know what I mean? It's going to be a hell of a crash over the next 5 weeks to watch this team try and compete. Just because they're mismanaged, they're unguided, and, they're missing their best players.
And you hope it's only just for, like, if you're Scott Woodward, the hope is it's only just this. Yeah. Just ride out the rest of this year, and you would hope that whoever he hires can, I want to say compete for a playoff spot even, but just turn it around to where you're looking at 8-9 wins again. Like, isn't that the goal whenever you, even as a first-year coach in a new place, like LSU was so strapped with talent, you would imagine that a new recruiting class, new voices in the room, I would imagine new offensive, defensive coordinators. Like, it's going to be a whole blank slate in my mind. That you would just hope that you get it back to stability of what LSU was supposed to be, which is a floor, 8 wins.
Yeah.
If you're out there, please make sure and like, share, comment on the post. We appreciate you being there. That helps us out tremendously. We are brought to you daily by Go Chevrolet, GEAUX, Chevrolet.com. If anything else breaks around this, we'll let you know. But as we said, Eli Ricks out for the rest of the season. Shea Dixon had that first over at Go247. Check out, he's got a podcast coming up later today with Billy Embody, giving an explanation and a reaction to that news. And it's not worst case as of now. I don't think that we've heard anything of transfers and leaving. And I know that Eli Ricks is somebody who's always, kind of curious to the fan base of how stable he is. But it is, from all accounts, this is an injury that they've got to take care of, and he'll miss the rest of the year. And, hopefully whoever is next at LSU can save him and get him back, because Ricks is a key component to what LSU is doing defensively. Appreciate you stopping in here for this special edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.